slabs would slide easily into place. However, much difficulty was experienced until someone suggested the use of form oil to relieve the friction. Due to much of this work being at or below extreme water level, only a few tides each month were suitable for efficient work. It was decided to use a diver and work all tides. This was found to be very costly and inefficient. It was then concluded to get everything in readiness, put on a very large crew for this low work whenever a low tide occurred. The men worked in the water, and it was found that the job could be done faster and better at about 1/5 the cost. These men are preparing an area to receive the wall slabs. This is one of the locations where sheet piling was placed. The area behind the piling has been stabilized with backfill, and the B-wall slabs will rest on the I-beams, which are the caps for the sheet, put into loading hoppers and hauled by truck to the embankment area. The aggregate backfill was a coarse material, and although it did not require compaction, it was sluiced into the fill to obtain maximum density. A sidewalk was constructed along the entire length of the project. The hand railings for the sidewalk were cast in the framing yard. They were hauled by truck to the job site and placed by hand by city employees. Special templates were used to space the pickets. The templates were split, held together by bolts, so that they could be easily removed. The name Railroad Avenue was changed by city ordinance to Alaskan Way in July 1936. And so ends this chapter in the City Engineering Department's continuing role in the history of Seattle.
The fisherman sizes up the only evidence available, the jagged edge of the broken drill pipe. He can't predict whether it'll take 2 days or 2 weeks, or even if he can catch the fish. But fish he will. It's that kind of a job. Three days and many fishing attempts later, they try another special fishing tool. Maybe this one will work, but they have no way of being certain. The trick is to make sure the tool is lowered the 2 miles directly over the fish. Down it goes in the end of 10,000 feet of pipe, expertly manipulated by the fisherman who has tons of massive machinery and equipment at his command. When he has the tool 2 miles down, he feels his way carefully, cautiously. He uses the gauges as his eyes, experience as his guide. Down, down it goes over the stuck fish until there it is, caught 2 miles underground, But will the tool hold the fish all the way up? Here's the payoff. Yes, the fish is caught. Our dry land fisherman has saved this $100,000 drilling investment. Now the drilling can continue to see if it strikes oil. Baby demands comfort, all right, and if he doesn't get it, a formal protest is soon registered. Every baby is a born expert as far as knowing what's good for him. He approves only the most gentle products expressly prepared for his well-being. Baby oil, for example. It is so pure and mild that during the infant period, it is often used instead of water for his bath. Who would think that from this crude oil, pure baby oil is refined? But to extract baby oil and the hundreds of other useful products from petroleum after it is taken out of the ground requires as many as 10 different refining processes. A fantastic amount of investment, equipment, scientific skill, and complex engineering. Competing oil companies spend over $150 million every year in progressive research just to develop and improve new products from petroleum for baby and the rest of us. Whenever a liquid boils, you just naturally think that it's hot. But this liquid can't be hot. It's sitting on a cake of ice, boiling on ice and vaporizing, producing a gas that burns. This unusual liquid is LP gas, one of the hundreds of products from petroleum.
recommended you, Sarah. They're the next teacher. Avid readers.
And lots of artists here today, so each one of you should remember to put your own name on your own picture there so it doesn't get set down and mixed up with anybody.
What color top has that got on it? The large amount of rust in here is the reason that these poles were deemed structurally unsound. You'll notice how thin the steel is at this point, and it takes very little encouragement with the hammer to break it. We're at the corner of 4th and Cherry. The crew is setting out cones in preparation for their work. Mr. Sparling is preparing to remove the base of the standard. It will first be raised up the pole with the use of a coffin hoist. Excess grout has been dumped in this base. The hardware off the top of the pole must be removed. The grout that's been dumped into the base must be chipped out so that the structural iron worker can cut the nuts off of the bolts with a acetylene torch. The bolts are so old and rusty that it's almost impossible to remove them with a wrench.
Thousands of samples are tested annually from over 200 points throughout the service area. This helps assure that our drinking water meets federal and state safety standards. The Water Department's Operations Center on Airport Way monitors and regulates water in the delivery system around the clock. Water pressure, consumption, and reservoir levels are closely watched throughout the county-wide system. A sophisticated electronic reservoir security system is also operated from the center as one precaution against intruders. The Operations Center serves as the field crew dispatch point as well. From this base, repair and maintenance workers are sent out on both routine and emergency calls. Once the water leaves reservoirs in local neighborhoods, it is disinfected with chlorine again and proceeds through pipes under the streets to homes and businesses. Before it enters the much smaller household supply line, the amount of water drawn is measured by individual meters. Meters are read periodically, and charges are made based upon the quantity of water used. In the course of a day, a typical household uses 200 gallons. Throughout the system, an average of 170 million gallons of water are used daily. When the weather warms up and consumption increases, these figures nearly double. Within our regional system, residential customers consume slightly more than 50% of the available water supply. 40% is divided among public services, like firefighting and street cleaning, school.
Special heavy-duty cranes were brought in to load the slabs at the yard and set them in place on the project. Their transportation to the site and their installation became of great interest to West Coast engineers and contractors, since this was one of the first projects in the country which utilized this type of construction. Articles were published in the trade magazines describing the various units of the project and the design of the various structures involved. The contract for the concrete seawall involved the production of 4 of these slabs daily for 1 year or more. They were 8 feet by 20 feet in dimension and weighed approximately 23 tons. Each slab was numbered in numerical order, cataloged and placed in proper sequence, and they were loaded in the same order. The reason for this was that the shear beams had to fit the spacing of the piling in the relieving platform. One would assume that the tongue and groove of the job. This company later became Pioneer Sand and Gravel Company. Their contract was for furnishing concrete to the job site only. Placing it was performed by city employees hired by the day. A major feature of the operation was the method of compacting the concrete. This was done by using vibrators progressively in the pour. Vibrators were used to minimize the existence of air bubbles in the cement and to ensure a dense placement. The program of keeping vehicular, rail, and pedestrian traffic operating at all times, both on the street and docks, was a major problem. But all business and traffic were given the right-of-way in the construction area. The source of aggregate backfill for the project was the mouth of the Cedar River, located at the south end of Lake Washington near Renton. Barges were loaded by clam derricks and towed north through Lake Washington and the government locks around to the job site. At the job site, the backfill was loaded.
Progress Parade brings you a collection of true stories of America at work. Fishing on dry land? What kind of a fish story is this? Yet it happens all the time wherever oil wells are drilled. As far as this drilling rig is concerned, everything seems to be operating smoothly. That's trouble. The trouble is 2 miles straight down. Down at the bottom of the drill hole, 10,000 feet below the surface, the drill pipe has broken off close to the drill bit. The broken pipe with a bit now has to be fished out of the drill hole. And so they send for a specialist. a specialist they call a fisherman. Meanwhile, the drilling pipe above the break, all 10,000 feet of it, must be removed, disconnected, and stacked aside. Whenever a broken pipe, drill bit, or anything else is lost down in the drill hole, it is nicknamed the fish. With the arrival of the fisherman, a specialist who makes his living by fishing in drill holes, a most unusual operation begins.
so long time.
Great. What do you like best about this branch?
Well, Gail's a real asset. She's enthusiastic, and she seems to know the children, and she reads everything, adult books, children's books, and she's always good to make good suggestions, and she's a real asset. Then it's just, I actually like the size of it. It's small enough that you know where your kids are, and you know the people, and there's a lot of good books here.
Great. How often do you usually come here?
At least once a week. I bring the boys up, and my husband tends to bring the boys up because we both like to come here. So the boys make it up here at least twice a week. It's so close.
Okay, great. What's the best feature you think about the children's area?
The best feature? Maybe that'd be Gail again. It's a great selection of books for the kids. There's always new books and old favorites. A nice mixture.
Great. Why do you think that the library is important to this neighborhood?
Oh boy. I just can't imagine a neighborhood without a library. I just can't imagine it.
Okay.
Sort of like having a grocery store, you know, a gas station. It's part of life.
Okay.
So.
Great. That's all we needed.
Oh, what about Simon?
Simon, what do you think?
He says,
Simon.
I can't read yet.
Just in time.
Were you photogenic?
He was.
Were you with your mohawk?
Yeah.
I'll go over there and see if they want me in the movies. Beat them up as quick as you can. Put them on.
have a nice cluttered pole here.
Don't need the pole or anything, do you?
No. And nobody behind me now either.
Of a major historic event, the Great Seattle Fire of 1889. Seattle's nearly all-wooden commercial district was quickly engulfed in flames when firefighters discovered their water pressure was woefully inadequate. The firemen could do little but stand helplessly by as the heart of the city, nearly 50 blocks, was reduced to a glowing heap of ashes. 1 month after the fire, the residents of Seattle approved a $1 million bond issue to establish a community water system. In 1895, the Cedar River in South King County was selected as a plentiful source of pure water for the new system. Since the Cedar was at a much higher elevation than Seattle, gravity, rather than pumps, could be used as the primary force in distributing water throughout the city. In 1901, Cedar River water began flowing through Seattle pipelines. And as the city's sole source for the next 63 years, it met the needs of the growing population. The Cedar River watershed, located about 25 miles southeast of Seattle, near North Bend, includes some 143 square miles, about the size of the city of Seattle. The watershed is a large forested area along the western slope of the Cascades, where runoff from snowpack and rainfall form the headwaters of the Cedar River. Since 1896, the Seattle Water Department has been purchasing land in the watershed. Today, the Water Department owns the vast majority of the Cedar River watershed and manages the remaining portion as well. The selection of this area as a source for Seattle's water and the control of watershed lands are two of the prime components in the efficiency of the system. Much of the runoff from rainfall and the melting snowpack eventually makes its way into Chester Morse Lake, a man-made reservoir over 1,500 feet above sea level. Chester Morse was created by constructing a
forfeited $400,000 in state funds. Here is the installation of the 20-inch water main and valve at the intersection of University Street. The water main runs north and south in Railroad Avenue and is in existence today. The first unit of the project to get underway was the driving of piling. The Manson Construction and Engineering Company became the successful bidder, and they moved 2 pile driving units on the job. Both units were to operate 4 shifts a day for a full year. A third outfit was brought in to drive sheet piling, and it was planned to work this rig 2 shifts daily for 1 year. Special pile driving equipment was brought in to drive the batter piles. Because much of this work was done at or below extreme low water level, only a few tides each month were suitable for efficient work. It was decided to utilize a diver and work all tides, but this was found to be very costly and inefficient. It was then concluded that the most effective procedure was to get everything in readiness and put on a very large crew whenever a low tide existed. The men worked sometimes in the water, but it was found that the job could be done faster and better at about 1/5 the cost. Here one can see the wall slabs in place and the method by which they were secured. Notice that the concrete shear beams extending from the face of the wall are keyed. Concrete was placed between them to form a solid unit. 1-inch steel rods were used as tiebacks to keep the wall in exact position. The Crosby Sand and Gravel Company furnished ready-mixed concrete to job site and placed by hand by city employees. Special templates were used to space the pickets. The templates were split, held together by bolts so that they could be easily removed. The name Railroad Avenue was changed by city ordinance to Alaskan Way in July 1936. And so ends this chapter in the City Engineering Department's continuing role in the history of Seattle.
Older kid, older teenager, and they're looking for something a little, that's going to stretch them a little bit, you know, it's a little out there. I'll bring them over to the classics collection. I'll pull out a few that really appeal to that age. You know, Charles Dickens' Great Expectations is a good one. Huckleberry Finn is a great one. You know, Catcher in the Rye. You know, stuff that's got to make them think a little bit more than just the straight run-of-the-mill stuff that's published mostly today.
Okay, great. Why do you think the library is an important part of this community?
Well, the books. I mean, you know, so many people come in here just looking for a book, and some people have specific requests. They want the latest bestseller and such, and we provide them with that or a reserve on that. Other people come in, they'll have obscure questions. You know, we just cover the gamut. You know, everybody wants to know something, and we seem to be a focal point for them. That's really nice.
Great. Okay. Good, Wally. That's all I needed.
Great.
Yeah. Oh, wonderful. You're terrific. You're very relaxed on camera.
I've been on camera once before, back when I was working in Quick Information.
Basically all my life, with a hiatus when I moved back east. But I came here as a child, and now I bring my children here.
Oh, that's great.
So.
Okay. So we'll start with the camera rolling. Eleanor, how long have you been coming to the Northeast Branch?
Let's see, 5 years, and then I came from when I was 3 till I moved away from home.
More fish in this one.
Concrete masonry dam near Cedar Falls. The dam serves to contain water for storage and to control floodwater. Some of the water, however, is allowed to bypass the dam and flows out of the reservoir at Cedar Falls. Along the way, it travels through a large pipe called a penstock to a small hydroelectric plant operated by Seattle City Light. The facility was built around 1904 and was the first municipally owned power plant of its type in the country. Once past the City Light plant, water from the Cedar River flows unimpeded for roughly 8 miles. Along the route, it is swollen by several streams until it reaches Landsberg. It is at this point that more than 150 million gallons of Cedar River water are diverted each day into the regional supply system. At Landsberg, the water is screened to remove leaves, sticks, and other debris, while chlorine is added to kill any harmful microorganisms. Fluoride is also introduced here to reduce tooth decay. After Landsberg, the supply system water is channeled directly into Lake Youngs, a storage and regulating basin 10 miles west of the diversion site. Although much smaller than Chester Morse, Lake Youngs holds enough water alone